Hello everyone, and welcome to my guide to improving Naraka Bladepoint. In today's video, we're going to go through 10 tips I have for players just coming into Naraka. Whether you are just buying the game to try it out, or joining us on one of our free-to-play weekends, this guide will be one of many stepping stones to becoming a top 500 player. Before we get into the video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you want to see more guides and content over Naraka. I often stream and upload to my other socials, but if you'd like to see more consistent Naraka content on YouTube, make sure to show some love to this video. Thanks and enjoy. Number 1. You should learn each weapon's playstyle and pick the one that you like best. One of the great things about Naraka is even though it's a battle royale, it has a variety of different skills, weapons, and playstyles. In the weapon department, we have 6 different melee weapons to choose from, including spear, greatsword, katana, longsword, dagger, and nunchucks. There are some special melee weapons and some ranged weapons available, but we will touch on them later. Naraka has something right up everyone's alley. Enjoy playing in the enemy's face and being able to string combos together fast? You should learn dagger, katana, longsword, or nunchucks. If you're more the type to play from the sidelines and make space for your team, but be there for immediate support, then you should learn spear and greatsword. Each weapon has a difference in its playstyle, but the aforementioned ones are the general playstyles. Now that you've picked your weapon, let's learn some of the combat. Naraka's combat on the surface is a very rock, paper, scissors style of combat, with light attacks, focus attacks, and parries. And just like rock, paper, scissors, light attacks beat parries, parries beat focus attacks, and focus attacks beat light attacks. Some of the other parts of the combat you should dive into is learning about the 4 prominent parry styles and adapting them to the situation. The current most popular parry styles are crouching, jumping, scissor, and hold dodge parrying. Crouch and jump parry are exactly what they sound like. You either crouch or jump as you parry out of a light attack or a focus attack. Now, hold dodge parry involves a slightly more advanced mechanic called hold dodging. When you hold your dodge button, shift on PC and B on controller, you're able to input an action that immediately goes through when you end the iframes of the dodge. Doing this, you can parry when you exit the dodge, allowing you to parry even if the focus attack normally would have hit you. Keep in mind, however, this has the smallest reaction window depending on the situation you're in, so is not the best parry option at all times. The last parry option is scissor parrying. Scissor parrying involves entering either an LMB or an RMB to initiate a focus attack, then pressing the opposite attack button and releasing the initial mouse button, resulting in a parry. This will only be an option until the first focus stage, but it will also give you the biggest reaction window to enemies using focus attacks. Following the basics of combat, you should also learn true combos. True combos are essentially a combo on each weapon that allows you to complete a combo without the enemy getting out of it. I will not go over the true combos in this guide, but there are plenty of guides out there with true combos for every level on each weapon. I will also be putting out a detailed guide later including true combos on each weapon in the future, so stay tuned for that. Moving away from weapons, characters and abilities are up next. You should go into the free range and try every character out just to get a feel for them. However, if you want a cheat sheet to each character, then you can follow this general guide. If you are looking to go in and have a good time, you probably want to play something like Tarka G, Tianhai, Yodohime, or Yushan. If you want to be a little bit more on the defensive side as you go in, you should play Justina Gu or Vada Kui. If you're looking to be a little bit more team oriented or have utility in your kit, you should look at Matari, Tumulch, and Viper. And lastly, if you want to support your team from a distance, then look for Kurumi and Wu Chen. A massive tip that even some of the top players have yet to utilize is using ranged weapons to bleed out opponents before engaging. This tip cannot be stressed enough. If you are ranging your opponent when they are trying to grapple towards you, then you will get free damage, putting you and your team at an advantage. Anytime you have a ranged weapon in your second slot, you should be using it to your advantage and not letting damage go to waste. Moving on from the combat related tips, the next tip I have for you guys is setting up your talent trees. Generally, talents provide you with in-game stats that allow you to maximize your chances of winning. The standard talent pages and solos look a little like this, and typically involve running stamina regen reds, dodge cost reduction purples, max stamina greens, and grapple distance or skill cooldown blues. The standard trios page will adjust based on the character, but will involve rage generation reds, rage per damage purples, max stamina greens, and skill cooldown or grapple distance blues, and depending on the character, luck blues. You want to use your Tay early in leveling to upgrade your talents to level 5 in order to have the highest chances of winning your matches before they even start. Now that you know how you should be increasing your chances to win, it's time to pick a mode and start queuing. If you are more of a lone wolf player who enjoys one-on-one combat without interruptions or showing off your skills, you should look to play solos. While trios is usually regarded as the main mode of the game that typically involves huge amount of team play, there's also some individual skill present with using parries and skills to save allies from death. Meanwhile, duos is a little mix of both. Duos usually involve team play similar to trios, but allow you to show off your skill a lot more due to the lack of a third player. You can often split teams in 1v1 skirmishes, or even 1v2 teams if you are just that much better. This next tip is somewhat optional, but if you have the luxury, you should be running your game with effects on medium at least. The higher the better, but playing the game with medium effects will allow you to see the full scope of many abilities that you normally would not see, such as Tumult Sand Tornado, and Yu-Chen's Wind Walls. Like I said before, this is a fully optional tip that allows you to have a clear visual of all character skills, allowing you to judge the distance of their abilities. Now that you have the character you want to play, the mode, and the weapon, let's look at the map. The Naraka map is one of the biggest Battle Royale maps I have personally seen. That being said, you should find some places that you enjoy dropping and learning the loot path through that drop spot. This will allow you to loot gold troves or chests as fast as possible, allowing you to get the highest rarity of loot you can. And I'm sure if you played any BR before, you know that having a gold weapon or armor on hand can make or break some situations. Naraka is similar, but you can always come back out of any situation, so regardless of what ends up happening during your loot path, make sure to never give up on a fight until it's fully over. The last tip, and arguably one of the most valuable tips to becoming an advanced player in Naraka, is joining communities that are already established and asking around or learning from already veteran players. Naraka is one of the closest communities I have seen, and everyone is generally open to playing with and or teaching new players. One of these communities is VL or Volume, which is an org established by some of Naraka's top players and content creators in order to bring attraction to the game and see it thriving in all regions. Many of the players in the Discord are open to responding to questions by new players, and even some are willing to teach directly. Another way to improve is by sparring those players in lobbies called 3-bans, where you use no grapples, skills, or ranged weapons. Simple one-on-one melee combat with no catches. Feel free to join the community Discord through the link in the description, and join the ever-growing Naraka community and learning. With these tips, you should be on your way to going through the Naraka's ladder, or even just getting good enough to show off your skills to other players. Thanks for watching the video all the way through, have a good one, and until next time.